So yes, I promised to keep you guys up to date about all things Cyberpunk. So here we go. We've got several new updates, a new event that yes, CD Projekt RED will be attending. We're also going to be talking about brand new updates to the back end of Cyberpunk, which is telling us that yes, they are very busy working on something new for us. And we're going to be talking about the desert region in Cyberpunk, how that can be expanded into something very, very cool. But also in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Hogwarts Legacy. They're going to be revealing 20 minutes of brand new gameplay here, March 17th. So I'm super hyped for this one. It sounds like it's going to be much bigger than a lot of people expect. I don't want to overhype it, but let's get into, first of all, the Cyberpunk news. Check this out. Official news straight from CD Projekt RED. They go on to say the following. Let me zoom this in for you all. Meet us at GDC 2022. They're going to be talking about bringing light to Night City, building Night City, the storytelling and player as an actor, interactive scenes in Cyberpunk 2077. And you can see it's a full panel here that's going to be starting on March 21st. And they're going to go straight through the 25th. Now, will we be hearing about more Cyberpunk new content and new stuff coming up here in 2022? I'm not too sure. GDC is a little bit weird. A lot of times it's just presentations about current technology. Perhaps we'll hear about new developments in their engine. That's one thing that could be showcased there at GDC, but I don't know. Don't hold your breath. Hopefully we do hear something. But now officially what we do know, if you guys did see my most recent videos, they have some events scheduled here for their investors in April. So that's when we get more into April, maybe we'll be hearing more about Cyberpunk, free DLC, and what they're doing with the expansion. So yeah, I will keep you guys up to date. Now, the good news is they are currently busy right now testing out some cool stuff for Cyberpunk. As you can see, the testing branch has been updated only 11 hours ago, and they also updated the internal CD Projekt RED branch 5 days ago. So they are currently busy testing something new for Cyberpunk right now. Can't wait to find out what that is. Hopefully it's brand new free DLC. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for, that we get something in, spring sometime, free DLC, and they hit us with more DLC in summer. And then we get a firm release date for this upcoming expansion pack. Now, also, someone mentioned recently in my comments how cool it would be to see more about the nomadic tribes in Cyberpunk, particularly the desert region. And it screams kind of like Fallout aspects to me, and this is something I would love to see. Cyberpunk 2077 storylines that DLC hopefully explores. It says Cyberpunk's vast Night City still has many avenues to explore, and fans are wondering which aspects will feature in the game's story DLC. Yes, we are all extremely curious, but check this out right here. This is one of the highlights. It says, although the Nomad life path is a starting option for Cyberpunk players, and there are a handful of side missions involving the clan, they're not as prominent as a feature as other groups. The Badlands desert around Night City offers a striking contrast to the neon-lit streets of the troubled metropolis, and it's interesting to explore another side of the dystopian setting. You know what I would like to see? Just hear me out here. I would like to see the desert Badland region after the nuke went off, like a prequel type content, because I imagine, this is how I imagine what happened during that period, is that a lot of people would migrate to the deserts to survive. So I think that type of storyline would be really, really cool to see in Cyberpunk, if we're talking about exploring more of the Badlands desert region, how they survived during such an apocalyptic scenario. Then we have this one with the dust-battered buildings, patched up vehicles, and hard-as-nail inhabitants. The areas just outside of Night City present lots of intriguing elements to delve deeper into. I totally agree. A narrative DLC that explores this important faction beyond Pan Am and the handful of nomads that players meet could be a great opportunity to provide more depth to one of the game's most unique groups. Now, I don't want to say that I just want them to explore the desert region, because there's a lot they can also do in Night City. Don't get me wrong. Flesh out the mega buildings in particular. That's one thing I want to see go full-blown Judge Dredd with that stuff. But yeah, it would be cool to see a balance with that in the future. There's a lot of potential different gameplay opportunities by living that nomadic lifestyle throughout like an entire expansion. Then we have this. In addition to some nomad-focused narrative DLC, the next major expansion could broaden the player's understanding of life outside the city in general, in the same way that fan favorite and critically acclaimed The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Blood and Wine transported players to an area outside the main game in a standalone story. Cyberpunk's DLC could borrow this successful formula. If players were taken to a brand new location untouched by other major conflicts in the base game, developers could create a diverse environment with plenty of opportunities for unique adventure. And, if we do get an entirely new environment, I think that's going to be DLC number 2. So that's just my assessment of that. But we got to talk about this other game that's also coming up here. We don't have like a firm release date on it. We just know it's going to be coming up in 2022. And of course, that is Hogwarts Legacy. This is a Harry Potter game, and it is going to be open world, but there's been some crazy leaks recently. I haven't reported on them because I'm like, we'll see. I want to wait until we see this brand new gameplay demonstration, which, by the way, is going to be happening on March 17th at, I believe it's 2 p.m. PT. And I'm going to throw the links in the description below as to where you can actually watch all of that. It's going to be on YouTube and Twitch and things like that. But yeah, I cannot wait to see what they actually do here with Hogwarts Legacy, because if this is actual gameplay and the actual engine, I am super impressed. Now, they did show some really cool teasers recently right here. These are the most recent gameplay snippets. As you can see, this truly looks like in-game engine stuff right here. But yeah, anyway, I'm super hyped for this one. And now it's time to go over, you guessed it, your top comments. Be sure to leave a comment down below for a chance for it to end up in a future video. So let's do this. What was my most recent Cyberpunk video about? Let's check it out right here. It says, fantastic news for the future of the game, plus new official update. So if you missed this one, you can find it in the on the channel, of course. But anyway, basically what happened recently was that CD Projekt RED updated the terminology behind what Cyberpunk actually is in their description of the game on Steam and elsewhere. Instead of it just being an action-adventure game, they're going and adding in RPG to the game description. They've done that recently. So they're really getting behind the fact that they want to embrace the RPG nature that is Cyberpunk. And I think personally, maybe this is a response to the community and perhaps even the response to other successful games recently that are full-blown RPGs. But they're really, really getting in tune to what they're good at, making RPGs. They should not be ashamed of that at all. But anyway, let's see what you guys had to say about this news. We have Jan C, who says this: I would love for the game to move more towards action RPG and away from looter shooter. I love the feel of exploring fantastic world that is Night City. On the other hand, I don't get excited about 10,000 guns with the same skin and almost identical stats. Interesting. 167 upvotes right there. So I've got a question for you all, since you've mentioned that. Do you consider Elden Ring a type of looter shooter, since you go out into the world and you're constantly finding different types of items? I think if it's a mix of things and the RPG elements are solid, like they have to be very, very solid first and foremost, then I think you wouldn't care as much. But I do get what you are saying. Most importantly to me is having good rewards for whatever you conquer in the game. I think that's so important. If the rewards aren't there, people are just going to get bored. Callan says this: I can see the infrastructure for DLC expansions everywhere in Night City. I can't wait. One area I could see them expand in all the houses and apartment buildings. Maybe new DLCs will let you open them, maybe to visit someone for a gig or because you notice something fishy going down, allowing you to begin a new quest or discover some new people areas. These apartments are preem start. I think that smaller stories throughout the Night City could help uncover lore and give the player a greater sense of immersion. The little things count, and CD Projekt RED has already done an amazing job with the game so far. I love this game and this community. Yeah, mentioning things that are kind of left, unexplored or unfinished, I guess you would say, is Pacifica is one region that I do think that we're going to see fully fleshed out in the future. That's just my opinion. We'll see. Then we have Blazing Sonic, who says, I would like for now transmog and some respawning crime alerts. Until the big story expansion comes, I can at least roleplay V fight crime or give us some bounty missions we can keep doing. Now, if it's action RPG, then we need something we can keep playing after the stories or something to do between stories. Imagine GTA-style game where you play as Silverhand. Interesting. I thought maybe people would kind of be like GTA-style game and kind of be more offended by that one. But yeah, it seems like a lot of you would be interested in playing as Johnny Silverhand right there. Then we have Richard, who says this one right here. He says, growing up, tabletop gaming wasn't an option where I lived, So I was pretty clueless about a lot of that. When I first heard about Cyberpunk, I was like, it seems kind of cool. I might check it out. I like the whole Cyberpunk genre of sci-fi. I was even involved in a few short genre films. A Twitch community I'm in got me more hyped about the game, and I got it when it first released, excuse me. It definitely had its issues, but something about it had bones. The world of it is great now. I've fallen in love with it, and I'm obsessed, and I'm going back and learning about the lore behind Cyberpunk. I have a coworker that's really into it as well. That's cool to hear. And it says, it's cool because we talk about it a lot and have inside jokes. He's been talking to me about getting me into Cyberpunk RED. I'm definitely interested in getting into that. They're doing some new stuff with that as well. The cool thing about CD Projekt RED, I will say, is they are willing to explore their franchises outside of just the video games. And I'm so excited, by the way, for what they're doing with the Netflix Cyberpunk Edge Runner series. It's supposed to come out this year. We don't have a release date, but maybe, just maybe at GDC, we might hear about it. But again, I'll let you guys know whatever happens with this franchise for sure. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk. And yes, I do plan to cover some of this Hogwarts game. It just looks stunning. I cannot wait to see what they show here on March 17th. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. You never know. But hey, you know, one game that lived up to the hype, actually, my God, Elden Ring. They actually did it. They lived up to the hype. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk and open world game goodness. And I will see you all next time. Take care.